Hi again, and welcome back to mini masterclasses for the French horn. This week we're going to review some things that we learned last week and build on them, and there's also some new things we're going to go over to add into the mix for your own practicing. So let's get started. Just like last week, let's make sure we're sitting up nice and tall with our best posture before we start to play. Make sure when you bring your horn up to playing position that you bring your horn directly to you. Don't go to your horn, but sit up with your best posture, bring your horn up to you, and then adjust your leg or adjust the pillow next to you on the seat so that you can have the best posture and an uninterrupted airstream when you go to play your horn. All right, to go over again, our hand, when it goes in the bell, we're going to think of it like having our hand about to give a handshake, okay? And your thumb, the only difference is your thumb will be on top. You don't have your thumb on top when you give a handshake normally. Now, from here, you want to cup your hand a little bit and put it into your bell with the fingertips on the sort of opposite edge from you, okay? So fingertips on the opposite edge so that there's enough room for your sound to come out of the bell and that we're kind of just influencing the sound. We're not going to cover it up completely, okay? A good rule of thumb, literally, is that you should push your hand into your bell until you get to the first knuckle of your thumb, until that starts to hit the part of the bell that curves, okay? So stop once the first knuckle of your thumb starts to hit the bell, and that's a pretty good spot for you to start to play. Now, everyone's horn and everyone's hand is different, but it's good to have just a standard idea of where your hand should be, and to remember that even though it's a little bit silly, it's definitely important for us to put our hands on the bell and practice doing it the right way, not just letting our hands sort of hang out in there, but do it the right way so that it gives us the best sound right from the beginning. So today, what we're going to be working on is our concert F 5-note scale. Now, you'll remember that horn is a transposing instrument, so concert F for us is our C scale because we are pitched in F. So when we play our C, a concert F comes out. And that can be tricky to remember, but luckily on our scale sheet it says concert F / French horn C, and you'll probably learn a little bit later in lessons why we have to make that adjustment, but for now it's best just to try to memorize concert F equals my C for French horn. Before we get started with this 5-note scale, let's take 3 deep breaths to make sure our air is really moving for us. Since we are a wind and a brass instrument, our air is one of the main contributors to our sound, so we want to make sure we have a really good air going, okay? So 3 nice full breaths. Here's the first one. Second one. And third one. Good. You should feel really relaxed when you breathe, and you should feel like you're engaging your core to get that support, pushing your air out for you. All right? So we are looking at the top scale, concert F, French horn C. Now for us, that starts on our C, open, okay? So no vowels, just our C. Let's play a long tone on that C. I'll play it first, and then you'll join in on the next time so that we can hear where we're going to be starting the scale, okay? Okay, now you join in. 1, 2, ready. Awesome. Long tones are important because they help us kind of focus in our sound and make sure that if we can hold a pitch for a long amount of time, it's going to be that much easier when we just have to play one single note. So, to attack the first part of the scale, the ascending part, we're going to play C, D, E, F, G. So we're only going to go to the first beat of the second measure, and the fingers for that, whether you are on a single or a double horn, is going to be open 1, open F, G. Okay, so with the note names, C, D, E, F, G. I'm going to play this once for you, and then you'll join in on the second one, okay? So just me, just listen and try to imagine yourself making the sound when you go to play as well. 1, 2, ready. Good, my singing pitch was a little bit off. Now join in, and we're going to play that first measure of this top concert F French horn C scale. 1, 2, ready. Good. Now, these are quarter notes, so each one is going to get a beat in our 4/4 measure. That C means we're in common time, which is just another way of saying 4/4. So 4 beats per measure. And you'll notice that each of those notes is not marked with a slur or anything, so we're just going to attack them like da, 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 da. Okay, let's do that one more time together. First 4 notes of our scale. 1, 2, ready. First 5 notes rather, because we went up to the G. Now, you'll notice on the second half of the scale, there's a big long mark underneath the notes. That is a slur mark. And that means instead of saying da, 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 and attacking every note, we're just going to do one big slur. We're only going to tongue the first note, and the rest of them we're just going to get through with our air, okay? So let's start on that G. We're going to start on measure 2, starting on that G. We're only going to attack the G, and the rest of the notes we're just going to blow through with our air, okay? So it'll be G, F, E, D, C. Okay, and it's going to sound like this. So listen this time. 1, 2, ready. Okay, now join in with me. We're going to play bars 2 and 3 of this exercise. G, F, E, D, C. 1, 2, ready. Great. Now, let's try to go through the exercise as is. So on the way up, C, D, E, F, G, F, E, D, C. We're going to want to make sure we're using our air through the whole exercise to get through each note. And we're going to try to hear our notes in our head before we play them so that we avoid kind of cracks or not really settling in on any note. Okay? Remember, on the way up the scale, we're going to attack each quarter note. On the way down, it's just a slur. So if I were to sing that, it would sound like da, 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 da. Sorry, that last C is a little low for me, but you heard that on the way up there was a da, an articulation, and an attack for each note. On the way down, I only tongued the G, and I used my air to get through the rest of the phrase. I'll play this for you, and then we'll go and play it together. So whole exercise. 1, 2, ready. Good. Now you join in. We're going to play this whole exercise together. 1, 2, ready. Great. Now when we practice something, it's important to mix it up and not do it the same exact way every time. So you'll see that all the scales on this page follow this pattern, but just because it follows that pattern on the page doesn't mean we always have to practice this way. So this time, how about we tongue all the notes with a nice long legato articulation. Da, 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 da. So we're going to tongue every note but still have a nice long articulation so that we can practice doing the descending part of the scale a different way. Let's do this one together. Legato tonguing the whole entire exercise. 1, 2, ready. Awesome. Now let's try it with an articulation like staccato. So staccato in music just means separated, and we want to think of nice and light notes with a little bit of space in between each of them. So let's try it with that articulation this time to practice that way. I'll play this one first for you, so just so you can hear what the staccato articulations on each note, the staccato attacks are going to sound like, okay? 1, 2, just me, ready? We'll still hold out the note at the end, okay? Let's do those staccato articulations, staccato attacks, nice and light and separated. 1, 2, ready? Good. So, like I said before, the original way the exercise is written is da, 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 with a slur on the second half, but you should definitely try to practice it in lots of different ways so that you can become comfortable with doing things differently and practicing things in other ways that they aren't written. So the second exercise we are working on today is our open fifth lip slurs. We just talked about what a lip slur is in the exercise prior. It's just where you articulate or attack the first note, but use your air to get through the rest of the notes in the phrase. And you can tell if it is a lip slur by that big marking over top or underneath, depending on where the note head is. If you see that, you'll be thinking, okay, I just need to attack the first note because the rest of them I'm just using my air to get through. Lip slurs are really important for brass players because, as you know, there's plenty of notes available for each fingering, and we want to learn where each note lives and how to be able to find it and what it feels like on our horn. And lip slurs help us train that and make sure our embouchure is nice and strong to be able to do that kind of quickly. The open fifth part of the equation is just the interval we're going between. So F to C is an open fifth, E natural to B natural is an open fifth. It's just the distance between the notes. And open fifth is a great interval to learn first because you've definitely heard it before. And by practicing an exercise like this, you're going to learn what it sounds like and be able to pick it out even when it's not in this context. So it's very nice to have an exercise that sort of isolates it, and you can learn what that sounds like. And there's plenty of other intervals to learn in your ear training as well, but this one's a good jumping off point. Okay, so for these lip slurs, the first one goes between F and C. And we only want to tongue the F, and we want to use our air to push us up to the C and down. So to start, it's smarter to break this down a little bit and only play F, C, F. Kind of like this. And that's important to figure out where each note sits. Let's do this one together. We're just going to play F, C, F. 1, 2, we're ready. Awesome. Now it's important that when we're practicing stuff on our horn, that we also sing and buzz it, because these are two things that help us make our best sound on the horn. So let's just sing that first series, that very first phrase of F, C, F. We're going to sing it and try to hit the notes and hear what that whole phrase is going to sound like, okay? 1, and we'll sing it on da. So da, the whole phrase. 1, 2, ready. Da. Good. You want to feel like you're nice and relaxed when you sing this and that you're not scrunching up or getting any tension anywhere. Let's sing that one more time. 1, 2, ready. Awesome. Now let's take our mouthpiece out, because slurs, like I said, it can be hard to find where the note lives. Practicing on our mouthpiece is going to help us kind of hone that in and be very specific and deliberate with where we're putting each note. So let's practice that phrase on our mouthpiece. 1, 2, ready. One more time. 1, 2, ready. Good. Now we'll move to the horn that we've done that work. So whether you're on a single or a double horn, it's going to be, F is going to be on first valve. If you're on a double horn, that C is going to be on the thumb valve, open except for the thumb valve. If you're on a single horn, it's going to be F to just open for the C. Let's play this whole phrase together. Make sure to get a big breath at the beginning and to hear the notes as you play them. 1, 2, ready. One more time together. 1, 2, ready. Now, lip slurs are really tricky, and I've had a lot of time to practice them. It's totally okay if for now your lip slur sounds sort of like, because remember, there's lots of notes in between on each lip slur. You just want to keep practicing, keep singing and buzzing so that you can skip those notes in the middle and just blow through them with your air. Luckily for this exercise, all of the patterns or the series are the same. So the F to C and the E natural to B natural, they're all the same rhythm, so you already know the rhythm, and they're all that same interval, just down a half step every time. Just make sure when you go to practice them that you consult a fingering chart for your horn, whether it's single or double, if you need it. And remember, it's okay to write in a fingering as long as you're not only relying on the fingering. Try to write in whatever combination it is, and then practice seeing the note and thinking of that fingering combination, because that'll train you to not need to write them in anymore. Okay? So happy practicing for these lip slurs and for the scale, and I'll see you next week.